Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. This is the Hoyt Concept X 37. It comes in a 40-inch version as well. So this is 37 inches. This is the first time I've looked at it. It's just new into my shop. Okay. So first thing I want to talk about, I really want to talk about the whole world, which seems to be crazy to me. I just don't understand any of it. So the first thing I want to talk about is this bow. Okay, and when I want to talk about this bow is its competitors. The competitors to this bow are the Matthews Title, the PSE Dominator Duo, the Elite Verdict, and I've probably forgotten some of them. So we've got the Matthews, we've got the PSE, and we've got the Elite. Okay, I think they're all very good. Okay, they're all very good bows, and I think the pricing should be similar because they're similar sorts of bows, right? So when I look at this, what always interests me is the difference between Australian pricing and US pricing. So it should be comparative. When I say comparative, you should be able to take the Australian dollars divided by 0.64, the US dollars and divide by 0.64 and work out how much it is, which should be how much it costs in Australia. Now this is the case with most bows. It works out fine. But it's not the case with Matthews. Matthews are so much cheaper in Australia than the US that if you live in the US and you buy a Matthews bow, you're getting ripped off. Okay? Now, this could be the case that either the dealers in Australia are not marking up. Absolutely possible. I don't know how much they mark up. It could be that they mark up more in America because they've given away prize money to shoots. So they have different price structures for America versus Europe and Australia. Absolutely possible. But the difference in price is crazy. I don't understand it. Okay, so with this bow, which we're going to open, in America, Lancaster, just numbers off the top of my head, I think it's 2,200. The Matthews is 2,100. So they put a Premier on it of $50, something like that. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. In Australia, this is $500 more expensive than the Matthews. 500, but it's only 50 in America. Then I thought, well, maybe Australia's cheap. Maybe the Hoyt dealers in Australia are just not marking up. So I was like, okay, what's this bow in America? It's 2,200 divided by 0.64, which is the Australian dollar. That comes to 3,400. Add on GST, which is another $340. That should be $3,700. This bow should be almost $4,000 in Australia. It's $3,000. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. It means you can buy this bow from Australia and save yourself about $500 if you live in America. So if you live in America, you can buy it off Lancaster. You can buy it off anyone because you're allowed to sell these bows. They're not. Hoyt used to be internet only. When I say internet only, they weren't on the internet. They used to be dealer only bows, and then they went, nah, look, the dealers are not stocking them, so we're going to make them, anyone can buy them from anywhere. So then on this story of this bow, I was like, well, I've read on forum, this is the greatest bow ever. Okay, there's a whole bunch of people have said this, and I think, well, maybe not. They don't really explain why it's the greatest bow ever, but they just say, oh, it's the best bow ever, right? And I'm used to this in archery, that this is the greatest bow ever. It's what the sport is about. So then I thought, well, if this is the greatest bow, there would be heaps of them in Australia from the Hoyt dealers. So I went to the shops in Australia to see what was in stock. So I could find 2 shops who had them in stock. One shop had 2 bows and one shop had 1 bow. So that is 3 bows in total in Australia. Now there may be other bows in Australia. I don't know. It's because the other shops don't do stock numbers. So anyway, I could see 3 of these in Australia. 4, I have 40,000, I have 50,000 customers on my database. So I don't know. And you've got like 2 bows in stock. Anyway, not my business, Hoyt. It's your business. You do what you choose. Comes with a Hoyt hat. Comes with grips. Comes with a manual. The grips are cool because they slot in, and we'll discuss that, and you can adjust the angle of the grip, really like that. Now, Hoyt have gone to a standard cardboard box from the black cardboard box, and I gave Hoyt a bit of crap in one of my videos a few years ago about fancy boxes, and they gave a bow case with the bow, and they didn't actually put the bow in the bow case because I thought the bow case was a good idea because it protects the bow in shipping, but they didn't put the bow inside it. Well, anyway, they've gone away from the bow case and they've gone away from the fancy boxes, obviously trying to save money. So this is how it comes packed. That's how it comes packed. Right. Okay, here we are. Now, I will say Steve Anderson works at Hoyt, and he was really nice, and he responded to one of my questions about this bow, right? Which I will discuss. Right, but let's look at this. Shoot-through riser. The concept of a shoot-through riser versus a normal riser without the shoot-through, it's meant to be more rigid. I have not seen any difference in my shootability between shoot-through and non-shoot-through risers. Some of my friends who are better shooters than me say they shoot slightly better with the shoot-through riser, although I would argue the point because I think they're just good shooters anyway with whatever bow they shoot. So, because I've seen them shoot with the other bows and they all shoot good scores. So, and I do see people go from a Matthews, which is a non-shoot-through system, to PSEs and to Hoyts, and they all shoot the same scores. So I'm like, is it really the bow, or is it just how much you shoot? Right, now, I questioned this bow when they released it. The paintwork looked crappy, okay? In the first bows released, the paintwork looked rubbish, and I called it out. I went, it looks crap. And Steve Anderson said that they've gone to a paint finish because anodizing creates too many environmental issues. The Cerakote thing I think was expensive, so they've gone to this. And it looked rubbish. This, I don't know if there's different ones or what. This looks good, okay? So maybe just the first ones were crappy and maybe people called it out. And I'm going to say one of my customers brought one, not from me, but from somewhere else, because I didn't have one. This is the first one I've ever seen. And he messaged me and said, I returned it because the paintwork was crappy, and you put that in your video and I wasn't happy with it and I returned it. This paintwork looks great. I don't know if the different colors have different paintwork, but this is, it feels solid. It feels like, when I say the other bow companies like the Elite on the black, the Elite on the, maybe just the black on the Elite. It's a rough kind of finish. It's not smooth. It's textured. It looks good. Okay. So the paint looks good. I'm not saying it's as good as the Hoyts in the past with the anodizing because I just thought that stuff was spot on, but it's completely passable. These are fiberglass limbs, which like whatever other people use. Some, they used to, Hoyt, I don't know if they still do or not, my ignorance, they used to put a special coating on their fiberglass limbs that other people don't. They used to, I don't know if they still do. But basically these are a standard limb now and everyone is pretty much using the same limb. They're not under a lot of tension, so I don't expect many problems with them. Look, it's... Hoyt in the past used to have fancy laminated limbs and PSE said they were the best in the business. That's what PSE told me. They said these Hoyt limbs are the best in the business, but these were cheaper. That's why PSE were doing it, and they said, PSE said, these are cheaper and they last and they do what they need to do. So I assume Hoyt have gone to them for a cost savings measure, okay? Look, it's what everyone uses, it's not an issue to me. The graphics look nice, not as nice as the ones in the past, which were all shiny and gloss, but it's okay. Limb pockets, these clamp in, that's good, that's pretty standard, metal limb pockets. I would like there to be a lock-in system. Now, Hoyts in the past had lock-in systems on their bows. They used to have lock-in systems here to lock it in place. So you could see if this limb bolt is winding out. Okay? They don't have that anymore. I think you should have it. It's a cool feature. It hasn't aged as a feature. It's still a good thing, and other bow manufacturers have it, so it's something you don't have, a limb locking feature. So if you own a Hoyt, you will paint this, you'll put a paint strip down here to see if these are moving. That's what you will do. You have the ability to fit a universal arrow rest on the back here. That's nice. Roller cable slides, nice. Huge fan of this because the cables aren't moving backwards and forwards. You have a yoke system. Now on this one you can see this yoke is not level, it's at an angle. That's not going to affect anything, but just for someone looking at it, just straighten it, which I can't now. Like I said, it's not going to affect anything, but it'd be better if it was straight from the factory, and I can't straighten it now, there's too much tension on it. These little things on the back of the limbs, they used to put these on bows to stop the limbs breaking. And when I say breaking, if you dry fires your bow and the string snapped, the limbs would often snap through here. So they used to put these on, they'd stop the limbs blowing apart. Hoyt have used a twin cam system. So Hoyt over the years have gone through a whole bunch of different cam systems. The hybrid cam, the single cam. We're back to a double cam. Okay, it's a double cam yoke. I'm going to say Hoyt used this years ago. That back there. Rotating modules. So like the PSEs of old, and look, Hoyt have gone to rotating modules for a while now, but I think these are pretty good. Like the best you've produced. Now, the thing I really like about the Hoyt modules is they're thicker. Okay, not as thick as the Elite, but they're thicker than the PSEs, and they have a double ridge. A ridge on this side and a ridge on that side, so that it tracks down the middle. PSE have only got a ridge on one side, and I like the double because it keeps this cable away from the cam. I like it, it's good. PSE should have done this, mentioned on all the videos. If they choose to ignore me, that's their choice. This is a limb stop here, right? When I say cable stop. You move this forward to reduce the let off. This is good. PSE have had this for years. This is probably better. It's more solid. I'm going to say more solid, bigger than the PSE, so more solid wall. It's a good thing, right? Limb stop. This is pretty standard these days. Like little cable rod. All the bows, all the banks, regardless of thing, are using a little basic cable rod and a little stop here. Pretty standard. So, is this better or worse? Oh, I'm going to mention this. On the back here, they've got a bushing for the rear thing. That's good. Some bows don't have this, so when you put your rear bushing in, when you put your stabilizer in the back, you're basically buggering up your paint, and you can tap out your riser. This is good. I've got two on the front. This is good. This is good. This is good too. This little screw under here, what this is for, well, you know, people will say, well, it's for when you use the Hoyt adapters because it bolts on twice, stops it moving. It's good because you can bolt in here and stop your V-bars from moving from side to side. All companies should have this. It's probably a patent, which is probably why they don't. But other companies need to think of something to stop your V-bars and sidebars moving. This is good. It's good. Right, the grip. 2 screws at the side. This attaches. Is it the best grip in the market? It's fairly thin. Feels comfortable. It's different to the Hoyt hunting bows. So don't think if you've got a Hoyt hunting bow, this is the same. It ain't. This is not the same. It's a different grip completely. So you're not going to go, my Hoyt hunting bow, Hoyt target bow feels the same, feels completely different. But this is good. It's nice and narrow, which means less torque. Look, I'm going to say I probably still prefer the Elite grip. I like the fact that the Elite grip it does this little taper thing. But it's very similar. This is very similar to not the Matthews, but it's very similar to the other bows on the market. Your PSEs, your Elites, like I said, the Elite tapers in, which I'd probably prefer, but it's pretty good. However, with this, you've got the adjustability of the grips that detach. It's probably the best. Bowtech have got the adjustable one. I think I like this better than the Bowtech. So, Right, so where are we at with this bow? This here is a brace to try and strengthen the riser. It has some downsides to this. If you're shooting a drop away RRS, this is going to get in the way a little bit. Right, so if you're shooting like a Hamsky RRS and stuff like this is probably going to get in the way. Okay, so what do I think of this? I like the fact that there's lots of holes here. What shooters who are better than me tell me, because I can only tell you about what I experience, but I can do what they tell me, is when they're shooting in the wind, the more holes they have, the less they move here. So you can see there, you can still see me clearly. It's lots of holes so the air will flow through. So they tell me that it's like a thin stabilizer, tungsten weights, because they're smaller than stainless, they can see less movement in the wind. If there's no wind, these holes mean nothing, and you can have a solid because there's no wind. But if there's wind, it lets through the air. Okay, so that's the concept of that. Look, I think it's a nice looking bow. I haven't shot it yet. It's just come in. Right, so when I compare this, I'm going to say these bearings look good. Now I'm going to discuss a discussion I had on a forum the other day with a Matthews dealer. This person complained that his bearings strip out on Matthews, and I'm going to feel like I'm having a go at Matthews. I'm not having a go at Matthews. He was complaining. The Matthews dealer said it happens on all bows, the bearings blow out. And then I had to have my say, didn't I? I couldn't just shut up. I should have shut up, and I probably shouldn't have mentioned this. What I'm saying, these bearings are good. I very much doubt you'll ever replace them. I very much doubt you'll replace any bearings on any bow, except for Matthews. And I'm not even going to go on Matthews. For some reason, there is so few people shooting Matthews in my state. I can count them on less than a hand. 3 archers? I think there's 3. 3, maybe 3 in my state. There's not many, right? And the problems they have with bearings, I've had people buy a Matthews and within 2 weeks they're replacing bearings. I've been working on bows for 40 years and I don't recall replacing bearings. Don't recall it. But I know it is an issue on things, and these are good. Other bows are good. And I'm only mentioning it because it happened the other day. Right, so my summary. I think this looks good. It looks much better than what I first saw in the first things. When it comes to choosing in the old versions of Hoyt, they had the hard cam and the soft cam, and I always said I preferred the soft cam, and all the pro shooters shot the hard cam, the SVX cam, the hard to draw short valleys, because they said it was more accurate. And they would try the softer ones like this, but they always went to the hard ones. I'm going to say overall that's what they went for. And then Hoyt produced this bow with the soft, big round wheel. It's meant to be soft. I haven't drawn it yet. We will draw it. And then the Hoyt shooters are like, this is the best. But last year you told me the hard cam was the best. Yeah, but this one's really easy to draw. The other one last year was really easy to draw, true, but you preferred the hard one. Well, anyway, I'm just telling you how the argument goes, and so I get a bit lost. To me, I like this. Looks like a nice thing to shoot, right? It looks nice and smooth. We'll draw it back. Come into the valley. There. It's a hard draw, but you don't really notice where it peaks. The valley is very short, so it's fine. How does it compare to the draw cycle on the Elite and the Bowtech? I'm going to say I feel, and I need my Elite. I feel like the Elite cam's bigger, and I feel the Elite cam is an easier draw. I feel that the Elite has got the easiest of the draws. I think the Matthews is fairly easy too, because I think it's got big cams. So the bigger the cam, generally, like bigger, generally the easier it is to draw. I'm more than happy with this cam. I'd have no issue shooting it. It's fine, but you'll probably find the Elite's a bit easier to draw than the Hoyt. So probably equivalent of around £2. I like the yoke system. This looks good. I liked this. I like the finish. I would like limb locking. Now the last thing I'm going to mention is tunability. So I suppose I should also mention I've changed there. Normally Hoyt would have axles here, and they'd have circlips. I got rid of them. Okay. So when it comes to tuning things, you move the cams left to right. In 90%, 95% of people I see tuning their bow, it's about them and talking the bow. So it's really a coaching session rather than a bow tuning session. Because I'll shoot their bow and I'll shoot pinholes, and they'll shoot their bow and they'll get a rip. Now you can tune the bow to shoot for that rip. So you can get the bow to shoot straight with their torque, but then I'm questioning, well, is that really what you should be doing? Now I'd also question, I saw a video the other day with Levi Morgan, and he set up a bow, completely untuned it, untimed it, changed the cam so there was no let off, got a terrible paper tear, and shot perfect scores at 40 meters with it, because the bow shoots the same arrow every time. So when I talk about tuning, I'm just talking about tuning, and this is what people care about. The Elite system's got a limb thing so you can move the limbs. Bowtech have got a system where you move the cam left to right. That's the patent, and they don't give it to anyone, right? You could argue that's the best system on the market, and I think that's hard to argue, right? So you can move the cam left to right just through adjusting. I don't mind the Elite system. I haven't played with it. I just shoot it. PSE have got a shim system, so you clip them in, clip them out. You need a bow press, and you shift the cams left to right. You've got to buy the shims. Matthews have got a new system. I haven't seen it yet. So I've got some new Matthews in today, but I think that's still the old Matthews. So with this system, you would have to take the axles out and change these shims. Now, Hoyt shims are really expensive, like really crazy, that I don't understand at prices. Anyway, that's just part of the thing. So it's like owning a Hoyt, to me, feels like owning a Mercedes. Mercedes are crazy expensive to replace anything on. Crazy, like just blow your mind. It makes everything else cheap. The parts for a Hoyt, I don't even understand. Like they were, I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but like little shims here, I think they were like, I feel like they were $20 each, where I just normally give them to people. Like I don't even charge. But same shim. But right, Hoyt strings, let's just discuss it because we're here. If you're a Hoyt dealer, you're probably going to rip these strings off and sell the customer custom strings. Because it's what you do. There are going to be Hoyt dealers somewhere in the world who don't do that. I wouldn't be replacing the strings. Wouldn't. I think they're perfectly fine. They look good. I'm going to say you're probably not going to have any problems with these strings. And why spend however much the dealer's charging you for a set of strings and them to fit them when these strings are perfectly good? Do you not like money? If you don't like money, throw money at your dealer and say, have it, I don't want it. But don't replace the strings. These strings are fine. Go shoot them. Right, and look, I sell heaps of gas strings. Gas strings are really good. Really good. I haven't had any problems with any of them. They're really good and affordable. But anyway, I think this bow looks fine. It's the most expensive bow. Is that justified? Probably not. Because I think Bowtech and the Elite have probably got more tech than this. But it's not a bad bow. You've got to pay your shooters. You've got to pay all those archers around the world you give bows to. You've got to pay for that, right? And that's built into the price of this bow. But overall, it looks really solid. The finish looks fantastic. Very happy with the cam design. Very happy with pretty much all of it. The parts that I would like to see improved is a limb locking system. Limb locking system. I don't even need anything else. I like the grip changeability. Look, this paintwork. I like the design. This looks cool. This is a very cool looking bow. Pick them up next year, super cheap when Hoyt releases the new model. And I feel like I'm taking a thing. Hoyts lose so much money. They are like a Mercedes. Lose so much money. My $200,000 Mercedes I sold for $10,000. That's what a Hoyt is like. The reason is, it's not that the old Hoyts are bad, because they're not that good, right? They're solid, they're rock solid, right? The thing is, if you're a Hoyt shooter, you don't want the old model, you want the new model. No one's got an interest in buying a Stratos. They don't. They've got no interest in it. No one's got an interest in buying an Invicta. They don't. No one wants it, right? With the old PSEs, the old Elites, people will still buy them because those people are like, oh, what's the best? Those people buying those bows are like, what's the best value bow you have? What's the cheapest bow you have? Right? So you're going to take a huge loss when you go to sell the bow. But that wouldn't factor me on buying this because you're buying this to use it. You're not buying it as an investment. This is not an investment. This is a toy for you to go play with. Go play. Shoot lots of arrows and have lots of fun. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. That's the concept. And we might even set it up and have a shot with it. Thanks for watching. Bye.